everyone, it's Kazea. I was doom scrolling on a random afternoon when I came across an interesting crossover that I've never even thought of before, but wish I did. Which got me thinking, what would the Dazzlings look like if they were demons? So I whipped up my stylus, found a nice podcast as background noise, and doodled away as I reimagined these beloved icons as Huntrix's next greatest rivals. Of course, we have to start with the leader of the group, Adagio. When designing the Dazzlings, it was really important to me that they looked like they belonged in a group. One of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to K-pop fashion is when the group feels like they don't belong in the same group together. I didn't want them to look like they were wearing a uniform, obviously, but I also wanted them to sort of have the same palette, similar to Huntrix's looks in their golden performance. So for the girls, I initially really wanted red, black, and white as their main color palette. However, if they are just starting out, I did consider that they will most likely lean more towards a pastel color palette, since it guarantees that they will reach a wider audience. Keeping that in mind, I wanted to take inspiration from their original looks, particularly their color palette, because I think it's not only a great nod to the original show that they came from, but I also think the colors suit them pretty well. For Adagio, I really wanted to channel Regina George vibes. She's the leader, she's strong-headed, she's a bit of a dictator at times, but that's exactly the charm of her character. For her top, I wanted to give her this button-down shirt with this structured corset and some shorts as bottoms. For her shoes, I really like the idea of giving her a mismatched pair. No reason, I just think it looks cool. I also added some blonde highlights to her hair just to add more dimension. As for her accessories, I gave her this choker, this tie, and some gold chains. A few finishing touches here and there, and we're done. Up next, we have Arya. Side note, when I was drawing these, it was very casual. I didn't think that I would even make a video out of it, so I wasn't thinking too hard about the designs at all. I was kind of just going with my gut, what I like, and how I think it will suit the girls. But I feel like a more effective redesign would definitely require some research, which I did not do for this video. I, again, was just going with my gut completely. So back to Arya. If I had to pick a favorite, it would definitely be Arya. I don't know what it is, but I really enjoy characters who are a bit nonchalant, but deep down actually care the most for the people around them. Let's talk about her outfit. So she's actually the one that I was excited for the most. I think her outfit came the most naturally to me. Like, I knew right from the get-go that I wanted to give her a halter top and this Aisha inspired bottom. Why can't I say that right? But yeah, I was really inspired by Aisha's mini cargo skirt, so I wanted to do something similar. For Arya, I gave her the same cut, but I changed the color and the pattern to make her fit with the other girls better. For her boots, I gave her the Jennie Kim treatment. I think this cut suits her really well. Coming up with the color palette was also really easy for me because all I had to do was look at her original character design. Originally, I remembered the blue to be a lot bluer, but it's actually more of like a cyan color, so I corrected that. I continued the gold motif, and I also gave her her blue highlights. Like I said, her design is by far the most straightforward out of the other girls. The only thing where I really had to redo anything was her skirt. I didn't like the initial pattern that I did, so I decided to change it to fit the cyan color better. I feel like this change was definitely necessary for the skirt to match the new color of the boots. And with that, she's done. Moving on, we have Sonata. Let's talk about her outfit. So Sonata is actually the character that I struggled with the most when it came to the design, because for Adagio and Arya, I already had an idea of what I wanted for those girls, but for Sonata, my mind kind of went blank. At first, I thought of giving her this like off-shoulder top and the skirt, but then I didn't really like the way it looked. Initially, I also considered giving her these thigh-high leather boots, but again, I felt like it didn't really add anything interesting to her silhouette. So we changed course and tried giving her another top. Didn't really like it. But then I saw this photo and I felt like this mini cape situation could possibly save this look. And I think it did, so I altered a few of the other clothing pieces to fit this new silhouette she has going on, including her boots and skirt. But the struggle did not end there. Even when it came to her color palette, I was also struggling because I knew that her main color was blue, and naturally the complementary color of blue would be orange. So at first, I kind of gave her this baby blue and this coral color palette situation going on, but then when I looked at her design, I realized that she actually had a lot of like deep purples and deep burgundy going on, and I felt like I should try to incorporate that in the design as well. So I went into experimentation mode again and tried to figure out the color blocking and which works and which doesn't. I really like this burgundy color as her main color, but I felt like it would have too much contrast with the other girls, especially since they're both really, really bright. So having her as the only one with the dark color palette felt like it would be an imbalance. In the end, I finally settled with this color combo. I felt like the baby pink and blue went with the color scheme a lot better, but to be honest, I am still not 100% sold on this. Ironically enough, even though Sonata is the character that I spend most time designing, she is still the design that I am least satisfied with. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the actual clothing itself or the color palette is just off, but I'm definitely interested to hear your thoughts on ways this could have been done better. But wait, there's more. As I mentioned earlier, I initially wanted the color palette to involve a lot of red and black. So I felt like since they are demons in this version, it would only be fitting for them to have their demon form, with a reprised outfit to match. Currently, there's a lot of discussion on whether these girls would actually be great contenders against Huntrix, but personally, I think they will. I know that their powers only comes from their gems, but when you really think about it, their ability to spark distrust and chaos among people would be quite the challenge for the Huntrix. Because majority of the Huntrix's powers comes from the unity and love of their fans, so once that trust is stripped away, it's easier for the demons to infiltrate the human world. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Also, is it just me, or did Adagio become 10 times hotter with the marks on? Actually, all of them look 10 times hotter in their demon forms.
I mean, their poses stayed pretty much the same. I just made them look meaner. Maybe that's the key to looking hotter. Just look way meaner. Kidding.
If Arya is my favorite, Sonata is definitely the character that entertained me the most. Her and Arya's banters were just comedic gold for me as a kid. Every time they were on screen, I would giggle and chuckle until my stomach would hurt. That's how much I love these two together. Because the thing is, Arya can't really bully Adagio, otherwise she would get roasted really, really bad. But with Sonata, there's less chances of her humiliating herself. But just because the chances are low doesn't mean they are zero. Sometimes Sonata does make a comeback.
Okay, now, since we have all of the girls ready, it's time to set the stage. I loved how the set design changed based on the form that they're in. This is definitely the time for us to take a moment to appreciate the VFX that Quima is pulling just to get these souls on his hands. Really goes to show how invested he is on this.
And that concludes today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know which version you prefer in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.